So the progressive resistance training will be divided into two kinds. So there'll be strength training and power training, and you don't really need to worry about knowing the difference between them because it'll be clearly labeled. But just by way of example, if you take a bicep curl, so strength training would be kind of focusing on increasing the muscle tension. So we move the muscle or move your arm up slowly over maybe 3 to 4 seconds and down slowly again over the 3 to 4 seconds. And then for the power training, it's more of an explosive movement. So you're moving the arm up quickly. So that movement upwards will be quick, and then you go back down slowly again. And we will label them clearly in the videos.
The bicep curl is a useful exercise for strengthening the bicep muscle group, which is a large group of muscles at the top of your arm. So what we're going to do is start by standing up nice and tall, and we're going to squeeze the core and make sure that we're not leaning forwards. We're going to lock the elbows in by the sides, and then we're going to bring the elbows up towards the shoulders and then slowly bring the elbows back down. This next exercise is the tricep curl, which helps to strengthen the triceps. These are a group of muscles at the back of the top of your arm. So Jennifer is going to demonstrate here. We're going to stand up nice and tall. We're going to squeeze our core. We don't want to be overarching our back. We're going to have our elbows in next to our ears. And then what we're going to do is slowly bend our elbows. You'll probably feel a stretch along the back of your arm, and then slowly straighten the elbows then. So as always, start with a small weight and build this up gradually. Our next two exercises are wrist flexion and wrist extension, which are useful both for strengthening and for preventing injuries. So what Jennifer is going to do, she's going to pick up a dumbbell, recommending starting with something nice and light, maybe 1 kilo or 2 kilos, and then gradually building up from there. Jennifer is in a seated position, and I'm just going to show you the position of the arm that's preferred to get the most benefit out of the exercise. So Jennifer's wrist is slightly off the edge of her knee, and then Jennifer is bending forward so that her elbow is flat on her leg. So basically we have a nice stable base for which to do the exercise on. And then we're going to start off with wrist extension. So what Jennifer is going to do is she's going to bring her wrist up and then slowly down, and we want to get the full range of movement out of this exercise. So come up as much as you can and then down as much as you can. So the other movement is wrist flexion. So Jennifer is going to turn her arm over, keeping the same position, so your elbow is still on your leg and your wrist is still slightly off the edge of your knee. And then Jennifer is going to slowly bend up the wrist as much as she can and slowly relax it back down. It's important to go slowly both on the way up and on the way down of both variations, so that you get the most benefit out of the exercise. Our next exercise is shoulder flexion, which is a great exercise for strengthening the upper arm and the shoulder muscles. So what Jennifer is going to do, she's going to stand with shoulder width apart. She's going to stand up nice and tall and she's going to squeeze her core. And then she's going to slowly lift one dumbbell up as high as she can. So don't lift any higher than is comfortable for yourself. And it's important during this exercise to go slowly, both on the way up and on the way down. This next exercise is called a calf raise, which is a great muscle for strengthening the muscles at the back of the lower legs called the calves. So what Jennifer is going to do is she's standing about shoulder width apart, and you'd want to have your hand on something to balance you, and it also helps you to focus on your technique more. So she's going to slowly lift the heels up off the floor and then slowly bring them back down. So about 3 seconds up and 3 seconds down would be our strength variation. And then for our power variation, we can go a bit faster on the way back up and still nice and slowly on the way back down. Our next exercise is the hip abduction, which helps to strengthen the hip abduction muscles which run along the outside of your hip. So Jennifer is going to start by holding onto something. You can also face directly onto what you're holding onto as well if that's what you prefer. Technique is really important in this exercise, so we don't want to overcompensate by leaning to one side to help to get the opposite leg up, because that involves other muscles that we aren't trying to train in this exercise. We also want to go nice and slowly and just lift up the foot as much as we can without having to lean to the opposite side. So Jennifer is doing an example of a nice controlled rep with good technique. And now she's going to show you an example of a rep with not so good technique, where she's lifted the leg too far up and she's had to lean to one side. It's just not as effective and it's not going to train the muscles as well. This exercise is a hip flexion, which helps to strengthen the hip flexors. These are a group of muscles at the front of your hip. So we recommend holding on to something for this exercise just to help you to balance and also to focus on the technique. So Jennifer is going to stand with her feet about shoulder width apart, and then she is slowly going to lift one knee up as high as is comfortable and then slowly lift it back down. So this is the strength variation, going slowly on the way up and slowly on the way down. And then for the power variation, we'll do it slightly faster on the way up and still slow on the way back down. Our next exercise is the knee extension. This mainly works on the quads muscles, which are a large muscle group at the front of the top of your leg. They're really important for everyday activities and then also in injury prevention. So you can do this exercise without any band. I'd recommend starting with that, and then if that's too easy, then you can add on a band. You'll see the setup that I have below. So I've tied a band onto the back leg of the chair, and then I've tied it onto the back of my ankle, and there shouldn't really be any looseness in the band before you start, because you want to have tension throughout the movement. So what I'm going to show you is we're going to slowly straighten the knee and then slowly bend the knee. And then slowly straighten the knee again, and then slowly bend the knee. So this is for our strength variation, whereas for our power variation, we can straighten the knee a bit faster and then still slowly bend the knee all the way back down. So in this video, we're going to show you the squat. We're going to show you some easier and then some harder variations on this. So we're going to start with the easiest variation, which is where you have your feet about shoulder width apart or a bit wider, and then you're going to have some support in front of you. You want to make sure you're standing up nice and tall, and then you're going to slowly bend your knees and then slowly stand back up, and only go back down as far as you're comfortable with. A harder variation of this would be where you're no longer using the support in front of you, and you can do this unweighted or you can do this with dumbbells like Jennifer is showing you. Make sure to always start with light weights and then build up slowly as tolerated. For this video, we'll be showing you the lunge, which is a great exercise for strengthening the muscles of the legs. So what Jennifer is going to do is she's going to stand up nice and tall, and then she's going to bring her leg forward, and she's going to slowly bend and back up. And then she's going to continue doing this for 10 reps and then switch over to the other leg. So we'll just go through some technique points while Jennifer is doing the lunges. So you want to make sure that you're not allowing your chest to collapse forwards. So Jennifer will show you a rep that's not so good, where her chest is coming forwards. And also you want to make sure that your knee is coming down in a straight line. So some people will allow their knee to collapse off to the side, and you're not training your muscles as effectively. So you want to make sure that you're aiming to get your knee over your toes, like this.